welcome to something new. You are correct, Tenders. I'm gonna be kind of test driving this and see if it's something that will work for this channel. I'm hoping so. I want to do this. Ideally, I want to get to the point where I get a decent webcam and I can actually be doing this on paper, because that's normally how I do practice sketches. I don't just doodle and practice sketch in Photoshop, so this is a little bit awkward for me, but whatever. So this is just gonna be a stream where I'm just doing practice. I kind of need to get back into a routine for doing this anyway, because I used to doodle a lot in my sketchbook all the time in school, and then, you know, I got out of school and life happens and you get busy and you don't just sit down and you just practice. Background music is a bit too loud. We can fix that. Let's see. How about that? Is that better? Does my voice project more? I think voice meter, nothing weird changed there. Sometimes I've noticed settings get changed thanks to Windows 10. Okay, so what I'm going to be using is this website here. Reference, right here, reference.sketchdaily.net in English. This allows me to pick animals, like people, body parts, the gender, clothing, which we're gonna have clothed for this stream. Normally it's easier to do figure drawing with nudes, but we can't really do that. Oh, he's playing Windows 10. Yes. And we're gonna go with both kind of poses, action and stationary, because we're not worrying about that. And the time, I'm going to say, for right now, I'm gonna go for a minute and see how I feel about that. And I think we're good settings wise, so I'm gonna stick this back over here. And hopefully when I press start, the image will just neatly show up there and we can doodle. And this will just be quick sketching. I have a pretty, oops. Stay there for a moment. I have a pretty big canvas, so I'm probably just gonna be moving around it rather than dealing with layers, because I have limited space right now. If I open this up, I, don't have as much sketching room. Again, why this setup is a little bit awkward for me, doing it on one screen too and in Photoshop. So if this plays out well, I'm hoping to upgrade my setup a little bit where you can see me drawing on paper, and there's display toggle. And it'll be good. So let's start this. Just need to move my tablet over a little bit. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be really, really bad at this at first. Tell you right now. This warm-up is going to be a warm-up for sure. I think I haven't bent way too much. No, yep, I'm going too slow. It's fine. shit. Oh, I don't have my eraser set up like I should. Oh well. I feel like I have an easier time drawing ladies, and that is something I'm going to have to work on. Need to be able to draw guys comfortably too. And also just speed in general. Huh? Just dreading for when it fades to black, because I know it's coming. Actually, not quite sure about that back foot. That's a bit off. Similar thing here, men are more easy for me. Just feel like my brain has to process more with females, or with males, than it does with females. Like, men just feel too stiff and blocky and not as flowy, and I'm more used to that, I guess. They don't feel as dynamic, but I know men bodies like that could be super dynamic, right? So it's just all in my head, I know it. Same with these proportions, my goodness. Because I know for me it takes a while for me to get a project done. I've always had that problem with speed, and figure drawing I know can help with that, which is another reason why I want to make this a regular thing for me, because it just will help. I'll be able to just know where things need to go, how they're gonna look, proportions, and it will just be natural, where here I'm just kind of like fiddling, trying to feel it out, and that just takes time. Extra precious time. Not as round as female bodies. Not as curvy. I'm trying to do this hip thing, and the brain is just not. Like the skeleton here, I'm trying to get back into the groove of using that, because it's super helpful, but it's coming to me very rusty, I guess would be the word. Ooh, now this is a nice pose. I dig it. I also have to draw like so much smaller too, which is helpful, I've noticed, drawing thumbnails, because it really forces you to focus on the broad strokes that make up the image, much like what figure drawing makes you do. Yeah. Got her done in time. Nice. Just trying to look a little bit better, so I feel a little bit better about the whole thing. It's just like when you start exercising, it just feels awkward, and then you get into a groove. Of course, this pose isn't as fun. Action poses are just more fun for my brain. Which makes sense. I mean, always. No, don't you dare go away. I feel like it must be pretty awesome to be able to make like a side job out of posing. I know a lot of them, they just do it for the love of it. But there is money to be had, and it is interesting when they can make that work. I am sorry that I have not been able to be as attentive to chat as I normally can. I'll have to be able to take little breaks between pictures. It's just one drill after another. That hand is too low for me, for this guy. You'll get better at it while you're warming up. Ah, you just knew. I'm running out of space. Alright, I'm gonna pause this so I can add a new layer and start clean. I don't know whether this backwards would go to the one past. Yeah, it would. Can go forward again? Yeah, reset the timer. Moments like these, I still have hope for being able to make a comic one day. Just get into a nice groove, get really good at it, and then start making millions of images. This is cut off horribly. But that's okay. Well, actually not horribly, but just cut off. Oh, it wasn't on play. I feel like I almost cheated now because I spent all this extra time on it. A comic? What kind of comic? Or, yeah. I have a few different stories that I kind of want to tell. Most of it, like the main one that I'm really interested in doing is based on Amber role-playing that I've done with people. And I just think the stories are interesting, and there's lots of intrigue, kind of Game of Thronesy almost. And it's set in fantasy, and the characters get, I don't know, really interesting in their interactions and their motivations. So there's that. There's also stories from like when I was younger that I thought would be fun to do. God, bad. I'm so bad. And I don't have my eraser. Hold on. Oh no! That's not what I wanted. I just wanted to pause it instead of pressing stop. I'll never get that pirate lady back. Okay, hard round pressure. wanted to try to do her from memory, but I'm not going to be able to. Okay. I'm gonna take a few of these. I'm just gonna try to add detail and be quick about it. Kind of my own thing of like, how quickly can we just build a simple character from this sketch? I smell paint. It's probably coming from downstairs. Sounds cool. Yeah. Roleplays are interesting because you end up with a lot of things that you never really thought would happen. Because you've got other people helping create the story. right now all I can think about is just I have so much more to learn and to practice. Why didn't I start doing this sooner? Proportions are weird, but whatever. Like, knee-jerk reaction is I want to make this a dude, right? I'm so bad at, well, just bad at remembering how to make a guy really look good, I guess we could say. So really here, why I'm trying to do these really quick-ish, is to kind of make it very clear to me what are the things I need to work on. So, proportion is something that I think I could perfect a bit. Male bodies I need to work on. I'll probably need a dedicated session to that, just on its own. Musculature. That's gonna be like a big thing. So having a skeleton and then laying on the muscles and like making a beefy guy. Lots of beefy guys. So I can get used to that. Hands, I need to do that and break them down into cartoons. So like do the skeleton, do a realistic hand, break down what kind of style hands are used a lot in animation, because they'll break it into simple shapes in order to save time when drawing a fist or something, but I need to remember exactly how to do that because right now I'm just remembering it vaguely. And that'll help with sketching. Just knowing the whole entire hand helps too, but I want to have the whole entire thing in my head, burned into my memory. If you want to beefy guys, I recommend anything from the 80s. Yep, that'll be my thing. But just, yeah, I've been doing a lot of resting on my laurels and I can't continue to just do that only. You be a strong, independent artist. It's like how I'm constantly adding weight to the limbs. Like that should be just something that, like proportion, I just generally have down rather than constantly adding to. You know. Alright. Schwarzenegger, Bruce Lee, Fist of the North Star, Stallone, all the classics. Oop! Just tried to pick up my mug from my mug warmer and it wanted to stick. Okay. So, back to this thing. Let's go with body parts. We're gonna go with hands. Both genders. We'll stick to a minute. Oh man, this is not gonna work out for me, is it? So I'm trying to break down the parts and I'm being slow rather than Speedy McGee. Like, gross. Okay, let's pause this. I'm gonna have to go through. I picked up a lot of really nice lessons and tutorials from other artists that break it down in like a way that made sense to my brain. I think I'm probably gonna want to refresh on those as well. It's like a Michael Hampton, I think was his name. And I have a book from oh crap, he's like super famous, or at least famous enough as an artist who made books. Something Bogart, his name. He has a fantastic hands book, and I'm gonna have to look into that. This is stupid slow what I'm doing. So bad at this. This position is not really something that my brain immediately went like, ooh, this would be fun. So that's a clue for me. horrible clue. It looks like I need to do a lot more just straight up hand sketches before I can get faster. Which is fine. We can have a session just drawing hands. Everybody's favorite next to feet. This will be good. I'm already like, I'm taking notes like, okay, we're gonna have hand day, a guy torso day, guy arm day, guy leg day. I'm staying away from because I know I'm gonna love it because it's my favorite. It's just faces. The one I love. That's the one that I've gotta, you know, I gotta get through all the things that I don't like first. I also just need to do things like this in general where I'm trying to copy exactly and figure out what is going on with my brain. Try to get better at the photocopying thing. Problem is, I've noticed a lot with sketches and stuff, you don't have the shading. Sometimes they don't look really correct no matter what you're doing. Hey Zarlark! Ooh, there's an article posted to Discord. So much wrong with this sketch. Like, this needs more weight here because it's forward facing. This should be... I'll explain it. I was trying to get that three-dimensional look to it. I'm just going to be fighting with this. So that's a clue right there. Playing with my new controller. Aww. I suck at using it. United States of Europe? Ugh. You don't wanna do that. Like, we're united and all, but there's so much bickering and just like irritation between states. It's just, trust me. Nobody wants that kind of relationship. Only the Empire wants that. Blood Swords, hello! Basically the guy who wants to get Merkel's position of Chancellor, but failed for the last 4 terms. Totally unsatisfied with this. But I should probably move on to another pose. Rather than dwelling for too long. I wish there was just like something that you could set in your brain where you are like, okay, my new favorite is now hands. And you just want to draw them all the time. So it's no big deal. We'll make it more American and use a 50-cent AE Desert Eagle. Probably the most American gun there is. Oh, not 50 cents. 0.5 AE. I don't know guns, man. I just don't know guns. More like a hand cannon. Oh boy. Hands always, always. Photoshop. You got stabbed in. That finger looks too flat. Doesn't look three-dimensional. Just looks like a broken hand. Honestly. Honestly though. And I hate that, because I want to make it actually seem real. And when I try to copy it and get all the right stuff, it still will look too flat. Then again, I shouldn't be so hypercritical, because if you take stills from like anime and stuff, you can see some pretty derpy shit, and a lot of people are just like, eh. And it translates perfectly fine, and people understand the animation. And they'll even be like, oh yeah, it was so good and amazing, even with those errors. Oh my gosh, Hendris, you're level 33 now? I'm like at 21, I think, now. Goodness gracious. You're like so much more dedicated than I am, it's funny. Then get on with it, it ain't that hard to level up. You can probably level up 2 levels within an hour or so. Not hard, just takes time. Yeah, it takes time. And you know, I'll go on it in the morning and at night, pretty much. That's pretty much it. I don't really spend enough time on it, I think. Therein lies the rub. I heard a ding, but I don't know what kind of ding it is until I look over to my left. Oh wow. Irony. So I'm gonna keep drawing a hand, and I'm drawing one that's a little different from my reference, because I want it to look right in my mind, and that means it's gonna look a little different than the exact reference. Now that made more sense because the fingers are moving down. This one, I put them together, so now the hand looks like it's going straight forward, which isn't good. This needs to be like that. Also needs to be in more. Come on, Shu, you can do better. Is there something odd I found out today? What did you find out today? Solaric is on my block list and I don't even have him blocked? What? Ah, Zorlark! All of the La emotes! All of them! Thank you very much. Love how that's happening while I'm just like, I need to dissect the anatomy of a hand. This is our great content on this channel. How do hand. Yeah. No. It's true. I'm excited for Animal Crossing 1 mods in the future. Maybe they can add some online feature. I don't know. The only, if you're talking about like Animal Crossing 1 as in the GameCube version, the only mod that I know of ever to exist is a texture, like to texture it, retexture it, high quality, whatever you'd like. Well, using my mind, the power of the brain, I made it look less flat, which is good. That's just wrong. But still awkward. On to the next hand. Give me a good one. No. I said a hand, thank you. We got the thumb. I'm just kind of using that as my anchoring point here. We have the pointer finger. This finger dips in more, or it gets tucked in tighter. Space. And this finger goes down further. There we go. Shadow something. It is weird that he got blocked. But life is strange. My goal in doing these, among other things, is to try not to depend on shade too much. It is important and it really helps, but you should be able to make something readable and non-janky looking without shade, in my opinion. I mean, again, looking at animations and stuff, shadows are kind of expensive, so they use it minimally. And you're still able to, and they use like actual line work and stuff and all the paintery tricks that you can get away with in a still image. So I kind of want to discipline myself more where I don't have to rely on anything that could become a potential crutch. Now, technically I'm being kind of bad because I'm doing this like from top to bottom rather than the whole thing as a fuzzy scribble and then slowly filling in the details, which would have been the wiser decision. No free transforming. No fixing your mistakes. Gotta work through them. Train your brain. So, yeah, it was a more comfortable option, so I was doing that. And this is what I get where I have to readjust things now. dangerous. There's so many things wrong with Life is Strange. I never got to really play it. I just watched a Let's Play. So I don't really know. It seemed like a good game to me from passively watching on the sidelines. But I feel like when you play a game, you do get more nitpicky about it. Or at least so it seems for me anyway. I could be wrong. And it's not a cold, fast rule either. Oh. His hand. So much struggle. It's gonna be just like color, I swear. Where I just didn't get it, didn't understand, didn't get it. And then now it's slowly working its way into my head where I still don't totally get it 100%. And a lot of time I have to go on autopilot and just go with what feels right, which happens a lot with my drawing anyway. But one day I'll just click. One day. I should probably be a bit wider. And his fingers should be probably a bit straighter. But overall, it's kind of an easy pose. Okay. Oh my. Nope. Single hands only. Let's not overwhelm my brain. Is it like you don't feel the things that are bad with it when you're watching it? Or it is for me anyway. Yeah, I feel like you have a different kind of intimacy when you're actually playing the game versus just watching it. It's kind of like, well actually it's not kind of like TV watching. I don't know, it's interesting for me. I've noticed it with more games than not where I don't notice the problem and then when I'm playing it then I'll notice it. But she somehow gets reverse time. And she goes to the same scenario and tries to stop it. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." Well, I do see the merit in those words. Because an enemy's mistake probably can be used to your advantage, help you some way. But wasn't it like Like, she always loved Chloe, even when Chloe was kind of a jerk to her. It was never really her enemy, as far as I know. I remember when that first came out, and I think Sunnyside Ob, he played through the whole game. We were talking about the ending and how he was like, oh yeah, I sacrificed the town to keep Chloe alive. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I went through all this effort to keep her alive. I'm not gonna just like ditch her. She's my friend. I'm like, you just murdered a whole entire town. Going against fate. And he saw no problem with it whatsoever, which I found funny. We all have these different kind of values we put on life and our efforts. God, this looks awful right now. A true train wreck of hands. Looks a bit better. Ooh, alright. This does not look correct, but we're gonna just move to the next one, I guess. All right. I have a feeling this is gonna immediately look like the thumb has been severed. And the sketch is like, what? Why? Why do you have that missing? I feel much more confident with poses like this. Probably because they're simpler. Straight up. And in doing so, the fact that I feel safer and like I know what I'm doing, I kind of can add more figurative lines and be less exacting and more just like the flow of what it's supposed to be. At least that's what's going on in my head. Exaggerating. Of course, I can't get too comfortable because I don't want this to look janky. Steam Link is being set up so I can play Rocket League on my TV. Man, I kind of beat myself up about that because I was gonna get it for myself when it was on that ridiculous sale for $5. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. It's actually not entirely for myself. I was just gonna buy it as a gift for my father. And I missed the sale, so there's that. But there'll be others, I'm sure, eventually. Yeah, see, it's problems like this where I'm itching on a part like this where the whole idea of being a comic artist is still elusive, because it would take me ridiculously stupidly long to do my current comfort level. Alright, so we did that. I keep messing that up every time. And I keep on going, like, wanting to save, and then I have to catch myself. I'm like, no, you don't save. This is just sketching. Knuckle there, and then attaching skin. Oh boy. Speaking of Rocket League, though, I think that's gonna be the game we play tomorrow night for the Drunk Fest. It's gonna be Rocket League and Overwatch. We're gonna combine the two. So it will be helpful to a bunch of teams cross games. I haven't played Rocket League since the last time I actually played with Ob, so I'll probably be extra clueless. So be prepared for some mad skills. It's not the right shape. It's like you have to get all of the information at once as well as breaking it down correctly. Because I keep on switching to what I'm working on in that moment, and then the image as a whole, like the shape and stuff as a whole, and you realize that you have some distance issues and the shape of things aren't right. Yeah, that hand is so-so. This should probably be brought up a little. What can you do? It's a hand. 10 out of 10 driving skill? Yeah. Yeah, you know, I might just suddenly be able to drive really well. We don't know. Actually, I think we do, because I think there's probably been at least one drunk fest with Rocket League. And okay. Gin for the win. Love it. It's like a mixture of doing the figure drawing and then being able to do the details. This is why figure drawing is so important, is so that you can just get the flow of the figure, the flow of the movement as simply as possible, and it will translate. So the visual language of as like few lines as possible, having everything you need. So then it doesn't get overwhelming, or you feel like you have to start small and work your way up, and all that other stuff. But you have to start slow with the hands still, and probably for the dude bodies, I also need to break down muscles again. So skeletons for sure. That'll probably be the next thing, come to think of it, where I'll just go through like, oh, the trapezius is that, I don't know, that sword thing in the back. It's like, this is its basic shape. I think there's a little bit of a space there where the neck is and the head. And just kind of drill that back into my head with all of the other different muscles, because that will really help with beefy guys, knowing all that stuff. Yeah, work to do. But if I'm diligent enough, come this next year, maybe this will be my New Year's resolution, where I'll sit down at least once a week, and stream it too, so it'll keep me accountable for myself, and just doing these drills. And like, if any other artists want to do it, or anybody wants to try doing it with me, like, we can work through it together and offer tips and help. But if I can just stick with it, maybe I'll feel much more confident by the end of the year, which would be awesome. And maybe I can start doing little comics. It'd be the best thing. Or there was one thing that I've been really wanting to do. I think it's actually on Patreon as like one of the goals, if I can reach enough money and be like, I can do this thing. But I'm gonna be serious with myself. I kind of really want to do it regardless of monetary value, which is like with most of these things that I do. A tarot deck for Elder Scrolls, which, I mean, those are standard single standalone images, so it's a bit easier to not practice. And just get by with those. But I might start working on those this next year as well. Try to get that deck done. Probably during the Friday stream, after we finish this horned angel lady. If you want to draw some skeleton goodies, draw Brooke from One Piece. There's skeleton. So that would be good reference to have. Like, I want to draw from source material right before you start, you know, fiddling around with the rolls. But I always love to keep in mind animation, because those artists already learned the proper anatomy, and then they were able to break it down into those understandable chunks, those translatable chunks, and that can be really informative with like your own journey. So it's always nice to see it side by side and compare and contrast. He's a rock star skeleton with an afro. Oh, you know, I think I've seen him before. I think I have. I'm detailing this one. I don't need to because I like this hand because it came out good, so I want to stay on it rather than go with a new one. I know exactly what I'm doing. But I cannot. Alright. Could probably bring this one in a little bit. And the shade brings it back further so it doesn't look like it's just right there. Awkwardly. The spacing between these looks alright. I make my wrists so thin because my own wrist is so thin, so I just have that kind of mentality in my head. Okay. Oh yeah, and the thumb. The thumb's kind of thin too. I could probably have made that a little bit wider. Basic shapes. Go away. Yeah, this one, I feel like my brain is gonna struggle on for some reason. Oh boy. I feel like with a lot of these it's interesting where I'll look at it and my brain will automatically be like, hey, if you rotate this a little bit, we can get this much better. Which is interesting, that it's easier to do it at a certain angle. For sure. Oh, this is trash. Okay. Yeah. You know, okay. I'm intrigued by what my brain wants me to do. So I'm wondering if... Oops. I don't want to do that. What will happen? Oh, right. Google doesn't... I hate Chrome where I have to, like, drag the image somewhere else in order to then drag it into Photoshop. It's a pain in my butt. It's horrible. I should just be able to drag it straight into Photoshop like Firefox does. The worst. I'm curious what will happen. We do this, because this is what my brain wants. So I'm going to see how smooth it is in the last couple minutes here. Thank you, Sarlark! Thank you so much. So this is the reason why I like to rotate my canvas and characters, and I just like unabashedly do that. Not only is it really good to catch flaws, but it just like it gives me the freedom to kind of flow with my brain on how I want to draw a thing. But that's for the personal work and stuff. And when you're drawing from a reference, don't always get that luxury. Yeah, this is, for some reason, my brain just shut off. Oh my goodness. Come on, we can do this. We can do this in 5 minutes. Can do it, brain, I believe. Sort of in you. Actually, what I should do is make this smaller for myself. So that'll help me focus more on the shape. And hard at work. Same here, it's better to be able to turn the piece of paper. Because for me, some lines are easier, more steady draw than others. Oh, definitely, right? So, there's plenty of good reasons why I should rotate canvas. I always notice with certain curves that I do, it is easier on a tilt. And with Photoshop, it's annoying to, because you can rotate, legitimately rotate the canvas, but the pixels don't look as clear, so I generally don't like doing it. So I end up rotating my Wacom and I look very strange, like a gremlin. Just like crouching over my tablet. I think this finger is just killing me. Don't know why, but my brain hates it. Needs to be up higher. Photoshop, stop. Stop. You're struggling, but it does feel like it's smoother in this position, which tells me something. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Can kind of see the difference that having that position made on my brain. Like width-wise of the lower part of the palm, and bring these closer together for sure in the negative space. But yeah, it seems like I favor like this one. This one was good and this one was good. I don't particularly love closed hand things. But I mean, like, I can work through it. The problem is, like, I can do any of these, but it takes longer, and I have to fudge with it more and more and more. So, this exercise over time should hopefully speed me up. Should be great. Every day, ideally, but that's not gonna happen. Every week is what I'm gonna be shooting for. Do updating a game in Steam cause the volume settings to be turned back to default? It's so loud I can't even type correctly. I've never heard of that happening, but I suppose it depends. Some game engines, maybe your preferences won't be saved in the save file. And if it gets updated, it gets wiped. I don't know. Maybe. But okay, so it is 5 o'clock. Thank you everyone for spending time with me today. In this kind of new experimental stream. I'm glad that you guys showed up and hung out. It's positive reinforcement. Not only for like just doing more art streams, but also like, oh, my practice where I'm just struggling and just like it's interesting to you guys, which is good. Damn, time went fast. It does. Spread the word if you like the stream, because it helps the channel grow. Like I said, I'm interested in this being not just something where you're watching, but also adding interactive things in some fashion. I'd like to like work on that and maybe do red line sessions too, like just like have a practice stream where it incorporates all that kind of stuff. I know there's some public canvases out there online, like Art Grounds. I think it was Art Grounds. It was a long time ago, where people can just like log in and draw on one big canvas together. So that would be cool to like kind of get together like a sketch party, you know, cool things. Anyway, you can check out the Discord for some fun emotes if you haven't, and you can check out the events tab on the Twitch channel to know what we'll be streaming next, which is gonna be the painting stream tomorrow, where I do that pretty illustration of that girl in wraps and horns and pretty colors. And then later on Friday night is the Drunk Fest. I'm already slurring my words. It's gonna be fantastic. Where Sunnyside Ob and I will get drunk and play Rocket League and Overwatch. If there's something that you liked or disliked about the stream, you can click the stream feedback links in the Twitch info panels or on the Discord and let me know. And feel free to, you know, give me ideas on how to improve this stream in particular with the practicing thing. Or just like things that you'd like to see practiced on, so it might help you with your practice, like getting things to click in your brain, or any cool interactive stuff. And as always, from my heart to yours, good luck!